Oh man, that was northern. That's a Yorkshire accent, isn't it?
I don't know.
Sounded it to me. But I just watched public television.
In portrait mode and
Coronation
wireless
Street.
charging. Now,
I don't
iPhone
have a
7
TV.
came in these three
Oh,
configurations
you're so
starting at
bohemian.
32 gigabytes.
I don't even have a radio.
We're really happy to iPhone 8 is going to start with twice the capacity.
Remember the days where it was
64
like,
gigabytes.
I
The
don't
second
watch
one
Look at all the
TV.
gigabytes. Did you see that? Okay, so the entry-level phone is 64 gigabytes.
Yeah.
My current iPhone 6 is, I think, 16 gigabyte. People are going to be so overwhelmed with the amount of shit that they can't manage. Outside, and this is where WeChat becomes a thing. So this Chinese company has a program that was originally, I think, just a chat program, which is now all of e-commerce, all of social media, and all of media consumption and all smartphone use in China.
I've heard that.
So WeChat, what WeChat means to Chinese is, I don't care what phone you give me. This is my layer. It's already figured out. It's remote. I download it from, and it's...
They don't need the memory.
I don't give a shit about anything else. In fact, I don't use any level. I don't care about your OS. I don't care about your Siri, because WeChat is all my friends, all my money, all my job, everything I buy. I pay, I talk, I interact in every way with WeChat. WeChat's like it's like the most brilliant thing in the world because it's not hardware.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it's there's that competition between Google and Apple. They're obviously Apple emphasizes the hardware, and WeChat is all about software.
Someone very dear to me lived in China for 8 years, and I think that one of the reasons that I find him so attractive is the fact that they were out of the United States for 8 years.
Oh yeah, they were
during what I would
hiatus.
call the end of America.
Post 9/11, living.
And there we are, and I'm sitting and going, okay, so it's maybe just consequential that they haven't seen this, they haven't heard that, they don't understand this, they don't understand that. And yet I look at it and go, they were completely sheltered. They lived in a highly capitalist model, but it wasn't the same message. And so that's what kind of gets me on this thing of like, it ain't capitalism, it's just what we've done with it.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, because I mean, not to say that
neoliberal
before we
capitalism.
get crazy here, the Chinese thing doesn't work either, but none of it works, right? But the point is, I feel like I meet someone who hasn't been here for the dumbing down.
Yeah, she wasn't here.
And believe me, the dumbing down didn't start with Trump. Let's get real. Didn't start with Trump.
I think honestly, it did begin with television and the Beatles.
The Beatles. I know one person who will love that comment. One.
Nothing against the Beatles per se.
Is about 0.001% of our listenership. How many motherfuckers do you think have sat down and done this and just been like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do, man. This is like, I know it. I'm sitting here talking. I know
listeners.
We're so funny. People are gonna love it.
No, I have no preconceptions at all.
I don't care if anyone likes it.
Yeah, that's my point.
It just seems like it's the thing.
Yeah,
this is the thing.
Yeah,
I love it. I love this idea.
It's the wave of the. It's the.
I'm not good.
I mean, this is the new paradigm of the podcast in the guise of a blog, right? I mean, it's just.
Yeah, this is what it is.
People love blogs. I mean, I couldn't believe the blogs that got attention. That I see. Oh, this is a popular blog. You look at it, it's boring. It's really fucking boring. But that's how bored people are.
But see, that's why
That's
you
how-
and I could be great big successes.
That's what I'm saying. We're clowns. We can entertain. We know how to entertain.
You know, I'd entertain.
We just gotta. Since we don't have our audience in front of us, we gotta know.
We're clowns. We know how to entertain.
We're natural entertainers from a very young age. When we traveled with the gypsies
Won't you give us a chance?
to sing for you and dance,
Alt-right.
pay us a wage.
Something about the alt-right.
No, never alt-right. I don't like those things.
Never alt-right.
I'm-
I told you from the very start, no alt-right. You give me nothing with alt-right.
You're doing Max von Sydow as an old Jew survivor from the Holocaust, correct? You ever see Pelly the Conqueror? You got to see Pelly the Conqueror. That's
Punk? Pelly the
awesome.
Conqueror?
No, Pelly the Conqueror. It's
sorry.
awesome.
Okay.
Max von Sydow portrait.
Max von Sydow. I'm a big fan of the von Sydow.
He's my favorite.
He's your favorite.
Yes,
That seems kind of like
one of my favorites.
Strong
Maybe
statement.
my favorite European actor, I would say.
6 gigabytes. And the price will be $699. iPhone 8 Plus will have the same two configurations.
just watch the video.
All right, I'll be quiet.
And 256 gigabytes, and it will be priced starting at $700.
That's ridiculous.
$799.
Really can pay that much for a fucking thing they really don't need. They really don't need
The rose gold, though.
the rose gold. Well, it's because it's a status symbol. That's what it is. I mean, this thing is like I got for free, and it does practically everything that thing does.
Oh, say that again.
I got this for free pretty much. And it does everything. It's like a fake galaxy. And it, which is,
Who's right?
yeah. I don't know. When I see $799, you know what I think of? I mean, I think that's a good price for a decent guitar. Decent new guitar. Or a really good used guitar.
Well, I think that represents
It used to be a car. It used to be a used car
a
for
large
$800.
population in the
What else
state
would you pay
of-
$799 for? Like a couch?
It's an entire African nation.
Yeah, you could say that, Richard Branson.
And so what I'd like to propose is the passing of the hat, if you will, in the auditorium to give the viewers a chance to give.
We'll be able to pre-order them starting this Friday on September 15th, and they'll be available a week later on September 22nd. And we can all upgrade.
I'm
to
starting to
iOS
get
11
like
starting
fond of
September
those
22nd.
iPhones that keep showing them so much. Like those two.
This is what I was asking you.
It's like it is-
earlier.
it's
Is
like-
there somewhere deep down?
Oh yeah,
something it's tickling.
Okay, I admit when I was with my ex because she likes the Apple, and we were using, and it was like there was something about using the laptop. It's chrome and it feels cold and it's sensually odd. It's like kind of sexy.
Yes.
It's a weird, but it's a disconnect there. I mean, it's just it's weird. So you get this kind of. Yeah, you admit it out there. You don't want to admit it, but you do have this tactile, quasi-fetishistic relationship with your Apple products. But it's the way. It's hence the spooge backdrop. I mean, it's the way they're designed. I mean, everything's supposed to be sexy, Cars,
Cars look great. Don't
cars
they?
look like shit nowadays, but
Don't cars look great?
no.
Have you seen the
CAD.
new Dodge Challenger?
Cars have looked like shit ever since goddamn CAD, and nobody admits it. But it's totally logical. I mean, a computer, you can't figure out something in real. You got to make it out of clay. Otherwise, you can't.
Did you know how many clay modelers still exist? So this is still a thing.
They had to
man.
bring them back.
Okay, here's the thing.
There weren't any for a while, right? And then they had to bring them back.
Well, no.
No, they've always,
They've always
been
been
around.
there. They've never left.
They've always needed the clay. But then they basically, this is the asinine part. They they design it in CAD, and then they make one in clay, and it's like, no, that's absurd.
And
that's
it might be one of the only thing that keeps the whole process more rational, honestly. But I'll tell you what.
But
it's
seems
$5,000.
Why start with CAD?
All right, no, just
you
hear
start
me
with
out,
clay,
man.
and then you go to CAD. That's what you do. That's the way to do it. You play that guitar on the MTV. We have Alexa play that song for us at work, and it's all a big hoot.
What were you just talking about?
You were interrupting my train of thought, right? No, that CAD is bullshit, and that you should design it with...
So let me tell you this. $5,000 gets you a class at the local arts college, a very prestigious arts college,
one of the two in the country.
And they will teach you to be a clay modeler.
Yeah.
And once you take that class, it's essentially you buy your way into a profession, which is very lucrative, in fact.
I hear you get big forearms, too.
And you do, yes, you do. You're strong, but they pay well.
Yeah.
I'd like to turn it back to Tim. Thanks,
iPhone 8, a new generation of iPhone, and a huge step forward.
All right. You said before you thought this guy was useless.
Yeah.
That's the most useless shit we've seen the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
Look at the look on this fucker's face.
Yeah, it's all just...
I mean, you know what? I'm sure that he could destroy my life and make one phone call and destroy my entire life.
Maybe. You could tell enough people not to work with this guy. He has that much clout.
Trust me, the people I've worked with are the ones telling me not to work with this guy. Don't need Tim Cook saying it.
But they still like your work. No?
I don't know. I don't know why they would. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I hate this guy.
But look at that face. I've lost it all. I'm not telling the truth.
This guy, I mean...
Look at his downturned mouth.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's a micro expression.
I doubt this guy gives anyone the time of day who, he doesn't need something from. Or he's not trying to, use them to get up the ladder. This guy does not seem like a patient man who has to deal with anybody that's, not on his schedule.
Well, I worked with Tim, and you're wrong. He's an incredibly compassionate man. He works...
Well, I'm not saying he's not compassionate.
He's tireless, really. He never tires. And he has a number of really redeeming qualities, such as empathy and an eye for detail.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably make that face at some point. Do you?
I just know enough about the corporate world and have met enough people that you can tell, these people, they're stuffy motherfuckers, when they get to, you can just reads all over them. Like, do you not mess with this guy's time? This guy's not a patient person. He reeks of that. He's buttering up his humanity.
I totally agree. I think
the whole spiel, but he does not seem like a patient man.
There's something strange about his hips.
Really?
Yeah. You see the V going down towards his man parts?
Yeah. I know there's something. Is he on estrogen?
I don't know.
He's got that.
I feel like
he looks like a lesbian.
He's like a cyclist.
Oh, yeah. Maybe so.
He's got the glutes or something.
That probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those Northern California guys, they are, like I said, you walk
backstabbing motherfuckers is what they are. They'll climb over you to get to the top, straight to the Zen center on their way.
Speak the truth, brother!
At least the Southern Californians will smile and you'll have a good time while it happens.
Oh, please, deliver me from evil. Deliver us from evil.
Yeah, please do that. Oh, Cthulhu.
You know what? Deliver us from evil. I don't even think that's in the most of the progressive Episcopal Lord's prayers.
Is that
anymore.
that's Catholic, isn't it?
Deliver us from evil. I don't think that exists anymore. I think it's deliver us from like influence or some shit.
Oh.
Or deliver us from false prophets or
Yeah.
deliver us from evil. That's not it. It used to be, right?
Yeah, it's in the version my mom always said. So that's got to be the one she learned. That's the Catholic one. The original Catholic one.
I think the Episcopal school I went to was deliver us from evil.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. I learned too. Forever and ever, world without end. That's
No,
the Catholic.
never had that.
That's the Catholic part.
World without end, I didn't have.
Forever and ever, world without end is the Catholic part.
Forgive us our trespasses, and forgive those who've trespassed against us.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
Which I always
For
thought,
yours is the
I never
kingdom
understood that.
and
Lead
the
us not
power
into
and the glory.
temptation. It's like, oh, please don't tempt me. When I'm like, hey, yeah, fucking tempt me, man, so I can decide whether I get to decide whether I want it to go down the evil, please deliver us from it, but if I want to, I'll go there.
But you can be evil. You can
Not be evil.
No,
but
you can travel evil. And
Yeah.
not be evil.
Nah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it.
You know
evil.
what? Let's just
Church
get it.
evil is
Let's
different
put it
from
on
evil
the table
evil,
right
though.
now. That God doesn't care.
God really doesn't give a flying. If there is a God, he doesn't give a.
He doesn't give.
He really doesn't.
But he's there.
If he's there, he's there. If he's not there, he's not there.
He's fucking there. He just doesn't really care.
I bet he doesn't care. Even if he loves us with all
The
his
greatest
every hair
minds in the
on our
world
head.
would acknowledge that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And you and I are two of those greatest minds.
You don't think he smiles a little bit when you do well? Like,
He cares in a
Good on you,
completely
son.
detached way. And I think that is the true nature.
Yeah, if there is a God, that
of
would
the
make
supreme
sense.
being.
That would make sense if there is a supreme being.
No, actually, I think God mainly just doesn't want us to up.
Well, yeah, if there is a God.
And that he's trying to get us to understand. And that is the purpose of apocalypse. Not that we're going to take all the good people and move them to heaven, all the bad people move them down to hell. It's the moment of realization
Yeah.
that this is all one end. And it's not that it's the end of the world as described by the book of Revelations. It's that the end is something that we constantly think about. And so there's no way for us to avoid that in any conversation about human nature. It's always, what is this for?
Yeah.
What
that's
is the end?
That's what makes us unique, right? As a species. That we need a purpose. We need a purpose. We're lost without a purpose. Humanity is, doomed without a purpose. So the apocalypse would be, because they say we're due for something, which is just, the cycle.
Because he wouldn't care if everyone fell off the earth. He'd only care that Noah was left.
Yeah, to keep going.
And that flood myth is ubiquitous. It's global.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's so. I mean, like, and
that God was it ubiquitous.
But here's the thing.
That it was because they were doing wrong.
This is the thing, though.
Or just that it
exactly.
happened.
This is the thing. Is why.
Because people were fucking up, and he's like, "Oh, you screw ups."
And some people would say, "No, it just happened."
Yeah.
It was something
It's a
that
part
the
of life.
entire world knew.
Yeah.
Because it happened.
Yeah.
Massive flooding.
Oh, so yeah, and people do think it did.
So
happen.
there's the historical angle, and then there's the thing
Yeah.
you said originally. Is this the idea that all religions give us the ability to understand how we may be punished for our actions? Joseph Campbell, all that, all of that.
Yeah, that we have to make up a story to give us a purpose.
We need this narrative arc.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We have a
that
reason.
could be
Raison
the
d'etre.
reason for the flood myth. Honestly, I think a lot of people might say, well, that just makes religion a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I would
a
say,
lot of people
no,
do say
it
that.
doesn't at all. In fact, that's the last thing it does. Because it doesn't matter. In fact, I would say the concept of faith at base requires you to give up on the historical dogma and say, I don't give a if it's true or not. I know what I know.
Yeah, that's the.
And I don't give a if the ark didn't ever go up in the water.
Well, that's what people need to understand. I think that there is more than just empirical truth, and that's what I will say. I believe in ineffable truth. I will say even I'll go further that if you don't accept that, you're fucking up. Like you have, as I was joking earlier about the turn of the century, when people thought they knew everything, and now people will think, and the fact that people think we can know everything, I don't think we can ever know everything. I think that's what's wrong. There's always going to be an unknown.
I don't think we were supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, anyway, the only vector of my logic is the cognitive dissonance of my lack of understanding.
Cute and simple.
I try to avoid that because it makes me wretch.
It gives you terrible feelings.
It gives me hives. I don't like it. Really does.
Sorry, Tim.
But we're not stopping there. We do have one more thing.
Oh, shit!
We have great respect for these words, and we don't use them lightly. Our teams have been
It's going to be a
hard
little
at work
teeny
for
tiny
years
segue that your
on
iPhone can
something that
ride
is
around your
important
house on when you're
to
not
all of
home.
us. The future of the smartphone.
Okay.
The first iPhone revolutionized a decade of technology and changed the world in the process. Now, 10 years later, it is only fitting
Oh, this is the thing.
that we are here in this place on this day to reveal a product
Oh, my God.
that will set the path for technology for the next decade.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Another video.
Oh, look at that.
It's a Beyonce video.
Oh, it's a Thigh Master. Whoa.
It's a giantess. There's a black woman in the audience.
Whoa.
What the fuck? It's another iPhone. Amazing. Another one. It's a Galaxy.
I
don't get it.
Sweet land
A new
of
iPhone.
liberty.
All right, they've been
For
talking.
thee I sing.
This is iPhone 10. It is the biggest leap forward since the original iPhone. And to tell you all about it, I'd like to invite Phil back up.
He seems angry.
No, he's trying to seem excited. That's how he's awkward. He's socially awkward.
But he seems
Yeah.
visibly angry.
Well, because he's a creep. It's like on some level.
You realize they just announced the iPhone 8.
Yeah, 10.
And now we skipped to 10.
Oh, they skipped 9? Why? Was that like some significance? Because it was a piece of shit?
I imagine this will be the subject of many articles on the internet
Yeah.
for
Like,
many
why would they
weeks
call
to
it
come.
10 instead of 9?
iPhone X.
Because they think that's better marketing? And they said, oh, well, we did make one in between that was our beta, and we decided, one of these days we'll release the iPhone 9 in a
I was
limited
thinking
number.
back to OS X, and I was thinking that maybe they did that with OS 9.6.
Yeah.
So they skip the 9. Numerologically, what would be the significance of skipping 9? Not just because it seems cool to do iPhone X, but what would be the
Like
the ancient
Kabbalah?
reason
The Kabbalah
for
reason?
skipping 9?
Oh, well, 9 is like the number of the tree of life. You know, it's the 9. There's 9 points on the Kabbalah, or whatever you call it.
Why skip 9?
Why skip 9? And it's not a prime number.
Divisible by 3.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
3 is the magic number.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what 9 means in those traditions of numerology.
Well, when you times 9 by any other number, you take the... What do you call it? What do you call it when you multiply something by something?
Oh, the square?
No.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean?
Like the multiple, or like if I times 4 by 5,
Yeah.
what's 5?
Oh, the numerator and the denominator? That's
division.
I never really thought of the two different terms for those.
Well, anyway, so let's say you do 9 times 7.
Yeah.
You subtract 1 from 7, 6, and the remainder to get to 9 is 3. So it's 63. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8. 8 minus 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. 9 times 4, 3, 6, 9. So that's like a 9 magic that I learned when I was in like 3rd grade or something. And when I learned that, I thought, wow, that is the secret.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, 3rd grade. And I thought, if that exists, then there's uniformity that we don't understand. There is more to it than just pi, okay? I know there's more to it than just...
Well, there's patterns like that all throughout.
But you want to know the truth?
Mathematics.
When I learned shit like that, that's when I stopped studying.
Interesting.
Because I was like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Really? How'd you get the connection? Come to that?
I don't know. I just felt like if there wasn't a principle and all it was a simple trick.
Nah, there's no secret. There's no fucking secrets. There's patterns that are hard to find, but they're there, that are used as secrets and powers and all that. That's all it is.
So the Illuminati.
What? That's a myth.
Can we hashtag that on this though?
Sure.
Okay.
Because I'll say that's a myth.
I think they require you to actually have it in the video.
Bohemian Grove, no, that's real. They have the goofy rituals.
The Bilderberg?
The Bilderberg group. Yeah, I believe that there's a bunch of oligarchic creeps, and you could say, they've passed the torch. The Western, banking tradition has gone from whatever it started through whoever it was, and the powers that be. Yeah, but it's no fucking cute, sexy, whatever, Dan Brown, exciting mystery. I mean, it ain't that way. That's the way people want it to be.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Caretaker, and this is going on 24/7. This is happening. This is real. The Caretaker brings it every time, every way, and this is how it goes.
I want to meet the guy who connected the Illuminati with the Nephilim and with the Chariots of the Gods malarkey. The whole reptilian thing, who put all those three together. That's fucking brilliant. And was it like an unconscious, I've been fascinated about that for quite a while, but it's something it's like impossible to research. How do you find that?
I think you're a truth teller. I think you're a bit of a soothsayer.
I got some things to share.
Oh,
even if it's just random facts. That's my gift to the world.
This is the real thing, man.
Random knowledge. I do admit I have some insights. Weird at times. But I just call it as I sees it.
Oh. Thank you, Tim. I think you can imagine there are a lot of people at Apple that didn't get much sleep last night preparing for this. Is this...
They had a slumber party, is why. A big pillow fight. Then they watched Princess Bride, and then went to bed as they were all reading.
Are we ever gonna get through this?
As they were reading
There's
comic
no
books
way.
together.
We can't stop. It's like every fucking line is perfect.
It is.
Like, how can he? Oh, look at him now.
They've got to butter that shit up, man. It's because
And they're all holding that little brick. It's so weird. They're all holding this little brick.
Yeah. It's
know,
it's like their little
little brick.
worry stone.
Yeah, worry stone.
Yeah,
worried.
It's odd. They gotta really put the mustard on it all the time.
The mustard.
It can't speak for itself.
That's what we got to call that line at the end of each presentation. That's the mustard.
Yeah.
I love it. I bet you could do a TED Talk about the mustard.
The mustard.
This is so exciting. And it is all screen. It is beautiful to look at. It is incredible.
It looks like a galaxy.
The display fits edge to edge, top to bottom. It goes into each corner where it follows the tight curve of the design.
Oh my God, listen to this.
It has glass on both the front and the back, using the same super strong formula as iPhone 8.
It looks like it has a slightly different
The band is made
personality
from
than the rose gold one.
I would say it looks more like a cigar.
Yes, it does. It totally does.
If I had an iPhone, I would cut the end off of it and smoke it like a cigar.
Nice.
I wouldn't.
grade
I'm not getting one of
stainless
those.
Steel.
It's too expensive.
Both durable and polishes to a beautiful finish. And look how the glass and the stainless steel form a continuous surface from front to back. There has never been anything like it.
There has never been anything like it.
Yeah. What does that mean exactly? That is strange. That's a strange jump.
What is he saying?
He's describing something. Yeah, okay, there hasn't, because you have a patent for a. That proves it right there. There's never been anything like it, you div.
There's never been anything like
There's
it.
never been anything like it, because you've patented it.
You've
been allowed.
patented
If
it.
you've been allowed to patent it. If there had been anything like it, you would not have been allowed to patent it.
You're a patent troll.
I don't know. It's just strange. It does look. I mean, yeah, it looks this. I mean, yeah, I could see fetishizing this thing easily. It is rather beautiful.
But doesn't it kind of look like the first one they made?
Yeah, but the fact that it is glass all over. It's like you're holding. You know how the satisfaction of holding a glass that's like a nice design glass.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna feel like holding this thing.
Okay.
Like you're holding, like the way people. You know why people love those fucking gewgaws and gimcracks out of porcelain and shit, like cups, teacups, and like Hummel figurines. It's like the same thing emotionally, I bet, as this.
No, that's kind of right.
Symmetrical things that are symmetrical are boring. Things that are asymmetrical are sexy.
I
And
think
people
we're
don't
looking
realize
at
that.
the rule of thirds right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
It's got the golden ratio and shit going on in that, and that's what most people consciously they think symmetry is best. No, yeah, I don't believe in symmetry as I believe in symmetry is in nature. That's an absolute fact. There's symmetry everywhere in nature, but I think I think symmetry is bullshit. I think people think symmetry is what's beautiful. That's my point. But asymmetry is what's really beautiful.
But even asymmetry is symmetry because
There's
Rule of thirds would argue,
if it's a balanced asymmetry.
Rule of thirds would argue that its whole point is asymmetry.
Yeah,
but I would say
there
that
is
it's symmetry because it's divisible by 3.
I see what you're saying. And a balanced asymmetry, But I mean, yeah, that's what the asymmetry does. If it's a balanced asymmetry, it creates a symmetry that's you consciously don't consciously see it, you unconsciously see it, and that's why it doesn't have an artificiality to it, because symmetry in art looks like when I see symmetry in art, my reaction is, why do you want me looking at that? Like why am I focusing on that? Like, so it's only worth like in a portrait or whatever. Like there has to be a subject right there that's like more than just it's a tree or whatever. It makes sense only if the tree is like doing something interesting or whatever. Anyway, but I digress. That's my theory. I've never taught art, never studied it, but I did learn on my own the trick. If you turn the thing upside down, you could tell if it works or not.
You never taught art until just now.
Well,
It's engineered to be water and dust resistant at a microscopic level. Comes in
there's the jizz
beautiful
again.
finishes, space gray and silver. Each has an incredible depth
Ooh,
and
and black.
pearlescence to the color in the glass.
Okay, now here's an interesting thing. So where's the rose gold?
Yeah.
At the top.
You know why? Because they
At
want
the top
This is
tier.
why it's 10. This is why it's 10. This is the man's iPhone. That's why they couldn't do 9. 9 is, I mean, 9
Where's
is a
the
feminine.
rose gold? Because they can't afford it?
No, they don't want it because it's for chicks. This is the guy's phone.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is the geek phone.
Yeah, this is the total geek phone. But that's guys. The geeks are the guys.
Is
are
it
the
the geek
geeks.
phone? No, it's the status phone. It's the corporate phone.
Yeah, it's for men. This is the phallic phone. The other's the yonic phone, bro. You
Okay,
said it was
I'm gonna
yonic
roll back.
yourself.
I'm rolling back.
You said you saw a vagina.
I saw it, but what I'm gonna say,
And that's a phallus.
That's
we
a
admit.
phallus. I get it, but you know what? That's the status phone, man.
Yeah,
It's not the
executive
man phone. It's the status
But
phone.
why is this one more? Because it's newer.
Because it's the top of the line and it doesn't include rose gold.
Yeah, because they know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's the subtle. Yeah, it's like
It's like you're
Yeah.
white trash.
it's like driving. It's like driving
You
the
trashy,
yeah.
deplorable rose gold carrying mother.
Yeah, maybe so. I guess. Yeah, I could see that. The rose gold's the Chav phone, and this is the Sloan Warrior phone.
iPhone 10 has an all-new display. It's called the Super Retina display.
Uh-oh, that just sounds painful.
The level of quality and responsiveness.
I don't want. I
and
mean, I
efficiency
got
is
one of those
really
lights for. Fucking A. Oh God.
Where-
damn
where is it?
Oh no. Yeah, right there. But it hurts. It hurts. It hurts so
here.
fucking much. Oh God damn it. Oh.
This is the caretaker.
I ride my bike everywhere, and I dehydrate myself too easily. Anyhow, I was gonna say something before I got inflamed there. Flagrant. You heard me.
inflamed.
You heard me in flagrant. Was it delecto? Flagrante delecto.
In flagrante.
In flagrante delecto. No, I added the delecto. In el flagrante, al fresco. Look at that thing.
breakthrough in mobile displays. To start with, the Super Retina display
Or Super
is
Retina
5.8
display.
inches on the diagonal. It's got 2436
So
by
it reads your retina?
1125 resolution. That's over 2.7 million pixels. It has 458 pixels per inch. Now, this is the highest resolution and pixel density ever in an iPhone.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, that's great! Yeah, all right. Let's just see if they clap, because I did it before.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ready? Oh, they didn't do shit.
No,
No one clapped for that.
because it's boring. It doesn't
I
mean
was
anything.
trying to predict when people would be clapping.
Because that's too geek. I mean, that's the clapping's the emotional response. They're not going to have. Yes, they're not. They don't want. This is not what they want. Is that people to identify this phone with geeks? Because the geeks are in denial that they're geeks identifying with this phone. You know. So they're not going to encourage the insider baseball cheering. That's why it was like, what biggest cheer do we hear? You know, hello, Chicago. And then we hear a guy go, woo! You know, that's the only quasi-emotion
Chicago
we've
area.
heard, you know, the whole time. Because, you know, Chicago right now, for the foreign listeners, is like the only
Foreign listeners?
Yeah.
Who are they?
the ones around who aren't in the
I
United
mean,
States.
outside the continental U.S.?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
That Chicago is used as a example for acceptable middle America. We got the farmers and we got Chicago. That's it. You know, and then the rest is like New York Jews, rich people, Hollywood people in California who are like kind of like, hey, it's California. This is in the media.
Wait a minute.
It's remarkable.
They're all laid back. It's like that's
Wait
the
a
cliche.
second. What is this? Hey, it's California.
Hey,
thing?
I'm in California. It's great. That's what they depict on television.
I love
They
it.
totally do.
No, I
man.
want to try and replicate it. Say it again.
Hey,
it's
it's California. Hey.
Okay, so remember when we were talking about our sponsors,
Yeah.
our advertisers? I
state
think the
of
state of
California?
California should probably be one of them.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
should.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
okay,
everybody.
That's what I'm saying. This is no brainer.
Can be packed into a phone that fits so comfortably in our hands. The Super Retina display uses OLED technology. This is the first OLED display great enough to be in an iPhone.
Wait, what? So every other OLED display was not good enough for iPhone.
What's OLED display?
It's just like a flexible display. That's what they're using on this thing. So so it can like bend around the edges.
Yeah, because they were
but
always.
the Samsungs have that already,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
My phone has
OLED
that, I think.
displays have had great benefits, like high contrast and resolution.
These are all the benefits, by the way.
Yeah.
Those seem good.
They're trying. Well, yeah, they're just trying to explain why they're trying to make up an excuse for why they haven't made they haven't mimicked Galaxy. They don't want to admit that Samsung, and shout out to Korea, they got the best industrial design, I should think. That Apple has, they came up with a lot of great things, but apparently Samsung has the better design for the smartphone.
And they kind of copied
And they
it,
fucking
right?
aped it. Come
They
on.
fucking
It's a
copied
fucking
it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, come on. And this is they're trying to
backlight means
make the
to make it
answer the
thinner.
excuse for why
came
they
with trade-offs.
haven't done this yet.
In brightness and rich colors and color accuracy. At least
That it
compared
wasn't
to our
good
Retina
enough yet
displays.
for Apple. That's
The
why we
Super
never
Retina
did it.
display
That's why
becomes
because they're like, oh, it's comfortable in your hand. Yeah,
lives up to
because
all that we expect
you
of an
couldn't make a
iPhone
big
display.
version of that weird little awkward
In addition, the
battery
Super Retina
that you
display
made
supports
of the
HDR,
iPhone.
both
You
single
know,
vision
I was like,
and
I held an
HDR.
iPhone after I'd held an
It
Android
has
for a
an
while. I held an
incredible
iPhone
1,000,000-to-1
for the first
contrast
time. And like,
ratio.
yeah, the interface is kind of interesting,
It
and you got a good
integrates our
camera,
unique
but this thing is like
3D technology
awkward.
right into the display. And like iPhone 8, it includes
I think that's just your
True Tone.
user familiarity, just your platform
All
of
this
choice.
innovative Super
Maybe.
Retina display
I think they're the
technology
same
is
thing.
great.
Yeah,
That's the point
but I
of
think
it,
that's the
but
better
But
design.
Apple's
And the point of it is
cult
to enable an
is
entirely new
superior.
experience.
That Android has no cult.
Yeah.
is so weird. I mean, it's all about development and nerds and geekifying and rooting your device. There's no god level Google Android thing.
Because people
And
who
I think that maybe the funny part about all this is that we're focusing so much on Apple, but good God.
yeah, I know Google's the real threat.
And we look at Apple, it's almost like the church.
Apple has obsolescence written all over it, man. Don't you see how their stock went tanked last year? Whatever happened.
I don't know
Whatever it
about
was?
that. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I think
something
they're here
happened.
to stay.
No, I'm not saying they're gonna go away, but look at the way, like you said about Weibo or whatever it's called, WeChat. That it's. I mean,
They've got some challenges ahead.
They did the iTunes, which is great.
But
they
just like Ray Kroc was so big,
yeah.
I recently saw The Founder, which is a good Michael Keaton movie. You like Michael Keaton?
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's pretty good in
He's
this.
a really good actor. I like Birdman. That was fucking
This
awesome.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he is at his peak.
Well, I believe that.
The Founder is a story of Ray Kroc, and I don't actually know the story of Ray Kroc, and the only way I've learned it is through this film. And I would assume that there is some truth in it and also some lies. I saw some pictures of Ray Kroc and his wife, and they don't really look like the really attractive Hollywood stars that are in the film. Like Michael Keaton. And
That's the worst.
And whoever the
That's the
blonde
worst thing
is.
about Hollywood.
But I would say that the idea that Ray Kroc took essentially an idea and decided he was so passionate about it, he had no involvement in the conception of it. He was not there from the beginning. He came later after the system had been designed.
Like Mark Zuckerberg.
Exactly. And then he said, well, I want a part of this.
And Edison.
Yeah.
And,
all of them.
Ford.
And
Ford
all of
took
them.
that from the Dodge brothers, didn't he?
All of them.
Ford took...
Every single one of them. The first one to think of it as not
And
the
then
one
the
who
Dodge
wins.
brothers died.
They all die before they can make their profit. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about this one thing, this McDonald's guy who took this idea and then he couldn't stand that he didn't have control. This is what the movie told me. He couldn't stand that he didn't have control, and then so he started instituting these rules. And by the time that he actually decided to try and take over the company, he'd become so big by buying up real estate. Became so big that he started violating the contract he made with the McDonald brothers. At which point he knew that he was too big to be fought. And even if he was wrong and the contract was violated and there was all kinds of legal recourse, he was so big that the forces would have been... And this is, to me, this is almost like I'm watching this film going, I am being brainwashed in some kind of weird...
To hate McDonald's?
Yeah. In a way, I felt this, not to hate McDonald's, but to hate Croc. And to love McDonald's, but to hate Croc. And I felt like we honor the tradition.
Yeah.
But we despise the truth and the reality of how it happened.
Yeah.
Because Croc is the truth
of
how it went down. Not the...
Interesting.
In other words, the original people who came up with this idea that they didn't make it what it is.
Yeah.
It never would have happened if it was
It's
them.
weird. It is like it's basically it is even though unconsciously it's propaganda to promote corporate fascism is what it is. But as I was going to say is like that story, that all it is that he's powerful. There's like how many crooked businessmen do you think there are? Like there's a story we were just saying about a bar in the area that's thank God bless the Irish mafia alive in town for a money laundering scandal. There's crooked. I mean, that's part of business.
Money laundering.
Yeah. Well,
who even does that anymore?
I don't know. Yeah, they were kicking it old school for shits and giggles, as the kids say.
I'm trying to think about the laundering part.
Yeah.
I want to know. Just laundering it through the bar.
Yeah, of course. They were laundering the money for somebody who could be connected to somebody big, because in that same neighborhood, there's other scandals going on with developers. That would be
must
interesting.
Have something to do with Paul Manafort.
Oh, he has a local connection.
I don't know.
Oh, it's sad, and I wonder if other countries, and I wonder what other countries see it, or they can't see it because they don't know that. They're not familiar with the signal, the signs, even though you think from an objective standpoint, these kind of stories would be obvious. Not that we're paranoid, but that we just don't trust it. And now we're in an era, and we're not unique. I'm not saying there's thousands of people like us. Maybe it's because we are of a generation, that is small between two really big generations. So we grew up, we had nothing to really understand, so we had to figure out. It was easier for us to say this is bullshit and that's not bullshit, and then we're squeezed between two generations that were media was manicured for them directly. We're objective. Our generation has an more objective stance. We were the generation they couldn't sell to. They couldn't figure it out how to sell to our generation. I mean, that's something I think if we go down in history that way, it's unique. It's unique. Anyway, I'm not waving the flag for nothing, but I wish thank God. I wish when I say if aliens saw what was going on that they would be confused. I honestly expressed that. The only reason I wish there were a God is that so that I'd have a witness. Because I feel like Oliver Douglas on Green Acres. You're surrounded by idiots But I know that's not the case. But there's a lot of idiots. There's and you admit out there, everybody knows there's a lot of fucking idiots out there. And people are
Present
sick.
company excluded, of
People
course.
are sick of hearing the opinions of idiots and crazy people. Dumbasses. There's a lack of wisdom. And what is that? The reason there's a lack of wisdom is because the legacy of our simple country bumpkin culture, that then it's country bump. We're basically, educated aristocrats and country bumpkins run amok. That's America right there. And then there's the middle class that fooled itself for a while, that thought they were special. No, you're not special. You're like basically country bumpkins who have drunk the Kool-Aid, that think everything is, no, it's not. The system is not going to help you, And then there's the people who have the means. It's all about who has the means and who doesn't have the means. And that sounds communist. Yeah, and that's why, communism is an attempt at a logical solution to an awful situation. But economics is treated too much like a religion. It's just a practical. It's like a fucking app, That's all it is. Whether it's privately owned or manipulated or publicly maintained, it's it's just whatever gets the job done. But I digress.
Once again, the caretaker with something you don't have and never will. That's okay. There's no shame in it. It's not that you can't. It's that you won't. It's not that you can't. It's that you won't. But that's not meant to make you feel bad. That's just meant to tell you the truth. And that's what we swore to do on this show, is tell the truth whenever we can. So
Intuitive. So let's start with the simplest thing. How do you wake up your iPhone 10? Well, certainly you can raise to wake just like before, but now you can also just tap on the screen and it wakes up.
That sounds familiar, Android users out there.
okay, wait a minute. So you got to press a button first, or do you just touch the screen?
You got it. Of course you got to press a button.
Okay, because that's acting like you just press the screen. And I'm thinking every time I touch this thing, every time I grab this thing,
it's gonna light up.
It's gonna turn on.
What if you're like hiding from a serial killer in your closet?
Show starts in 3 minutes.
They're at the movies, it's a big date. They love their popcorn, look what they ate. This kind of action, the main attraction. Oh boy, ain't love grand. He's buying lots of goodies, ice cream, Pepsi, and peanuts too. Living on love's not easy. You need your strength to woo. Now he returns, what's this she yearns? Refreshing Pepsi, a kiss he earns. Romance and pleasure, and for good measure, thirst-quenching Pepsi. For those who think young.
And now, on with the show.
Did I tell you about downloading Twinder? Don't talk about it.
I'm not kidding, man.
Dude,
Don't do Tinder.
The first two women that appeared were, I swear, Ukrainian prostitutes photographed on the patio of the bar I was sitting in.
Now this is the reason not to do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of it.
But it worked for me, so.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm just trying to get laid is all.
It worked for me.
Now with the display going edge to edge and top to bottom, there's no more home button. This is an important part and a big step forward in the iPhone user experience. Swipe up from the bottom, and you go
Isn't
home.
this the guy that we don't ever challenge?
That's how the fucking Android works, man.
That's the Herman Munster.
That's how Android works. He's describing a fucking Android is what he's doing.
You're running an app like Mail, and you
I don't know
want
what
to
you're
go home.
talking about. This is completely unique to
He
the
totally
iOS.
is describing how an
That
Android.
easy and nice. Now, the same fluid gesture also works for multitasking. So if you're in an app and you want to multitask,
Well, that might be new.
swipe up from the bottom, you pause for a split
Yeah,
second.
that's like
and you're
a difference between Windows
Yeah,
and
tap on any app,
Multitasking, Mel. You can
jump
only do
right
one
to
at a
it.
time,
yeah.
right?
Well, but it
We also
is
use the
more
home button for Siri.
manipulative.
The
that-
one
You don't do
right
that
now,
now.
you
Well,
can
of
only do
course,
one at a
you
time.
can
There's
just
no
speak to your phone as
multitasking.
before and
he
say,
means
"Hey,
what he means
Siri,"
is look at more than one app
ID,
at a time
everyone's phone's off.
and have them all open.
Or
You can't.
you can now
Well,
Look
that's-
at
the
snapshots.
side
Dude,
button.
that's
It's been made
Android. You can
larger.
do that for
Android,
ages.
you can do it.
Yeah.
This one you can't.
My argument is I mean, it's better to focus on one thing at a time. I believe I can multitask like a motherfucker, but I think it's a waste.
I'm with you all the way.
I think the all the wise men throughout the ages would say, do one thing at a time. You'll learn how to excel and embrace one thing at a time, and you'll enjoy life a lot more
Exactly.
than overstimulating yourself and distracting
Use
yourself
Safari
constantly.
alone.
Yeah, or whatever you use.
Safari alone.
Just Safari.
iMovie.
Yeah.
I don't think there's iMovie anymore. It's probably something else.
Man, I forget those.
iLife
Remember
or
you know what
something.
I miss? I miss that great age of Flash animation. That
I
was
miss it
beautiful.
too.
It was so
oh my
gorgeous.
god, dude! I swear to God, like that's how I got started in this.
It's
whole
gonna
thing,
go
was
down.
Flash.
It's gonna go down. It's like Strong Bad is gonna be like discovered. Like it's like finding Mickey Mouse for the first time.
It is really interesting how that all got erased.
Yeah.
By the mobile era. Like
Yeah.
it instantly was gone because
Yeah.
they couldn't run on their machine. And I mean,
Why?
You want
Why
to
can't-
believe that
why
Steve
can't it run?
Jobs was just thinking, well, we need to simplify the mobile space, but really, he couldn't run that shit on his fucking machine, and he couldn't guarantee the security of it because it was a security nightmare. And so he said, I can't run this. I can't guarantee this. He said, no, I don't want it. I don't want it in there.
Too
That's
bad.
okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
not
But at the
really.
same time, I think it's interesting that
It's
you
a
mentioned
tragedy.
that because that was
You know
like
why?
that was huge.
You know why? Because that was inflection, an actual inflection of something.
Yes.
That was new.
Yeah.
That was all completely new, and we saw a new aesthetic. You know, that was an aesthetic.
Well,
inflection.
you know what people
And
argue
we
when
haven't
they
had
hear this is they'll say that was just bad design.
Well, but why?
Caretaker.
See, that's their opinion.
That's the
their
rule,
opinion.
though, Caretaker.
But they
that's
don't-
the law.
Well,
That was bad design because it was decoration. It was like
and it was
masturbation.
cute and simple at the
It
same
was cute
time
and
as
simple.
interesting.
It was, but it
but
was
it was
also
still interesting.
It was also random, and it was
That's what made it
unpredictable.
interesting.
And I agree.
That's what made it. It
I
was
agree.
free. It was expressive.
I
People,
agree.
people express so much. You saw a spectrum of like in a very simple, similar forms. A lot of diverse, odd, eccentric diversity, and it was amazing era. It
I
was
totally
it was
agree
lovely.
with you
It was a
in
great
every
time
way.
to be an office drone. It was very fun.
I'm absolutely in agreement, and not just because that was what I started out.
That was
doing.
the last gasp of our culture, I think.
I think, in a strange way, everything died in the '90s,
Yeah, definitely died in the 90s.
and then so this idea about the end of the world being at the end of the century, I think
Yeah.
that was pretty true. We just don't know how to detect
it's true. You could say that.
it. Yeah.
You could say that.
With iPhone 10. I mean, this has been a very important part of the iPhone user experience from the very beginning. The first iPhone, we led the way with multi-touch, and we created slide to unlock. And this protected the iPhone from turning on when you didn't want it to, like in your pocket. Starting with iPhone 5S, we invented Touch ID. We made it fast and easy to protect all your data and unlock your phone with just your fingerprint.
Fingerprint on the
Touch
back
ID
of my
became the
phone.
gold standard in consumer device.
Is that an
biometric
Apple phone?
protection.
No, this is a government
we can do
Chinese-owned
something
ZTE, bro.
The iPhone 10,
I could give the
your iPhone is locked.
People's Republic of China my
Look at it,
fingerprint
and it recognizes
as a way to.
It's just a
Nothing
Lock
camera.
my phone.
simpler,
All a fingerprint scanner is
natural,
a
and
camera.
effortless.
I know, but
Call
it,
this-
it's beckoning to
Face ID.
want me.
Did you just see what he revealed?
What? No, I missed it. Face ID. Oh yeah, yeah. This is controversial because you know what we just read recently is that the damn AI can tell if you're gay or not.
Yep.
But doesn't that make sense?
Of course it makes sense.
If, as a human race, we 9 times out of 10 can
There would
meet and see somebody.
be physical manifestations.
Yes.
Wouldn't there?
You can see a picture of somebody, a photograph, and say, yeah, it looks like the guy's gay. And
be wrong.
And be wrong. But very often, you would be right.
You could be right.
Like you could say, is he straight or not?
What was it? 73% accuracy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I was.
That they have artificial gaydar?
73.9.
Why should that be so confusing?
Actually, I think it was 73.85.
Why would that be so confusing that there's artificial intelligence gaydar? Like the gay people are so subtle, and I blend in, and I'm gay, but you can't tell that I'm gay because I'm so subtle and I blend in.